Twitter. It's been leaked that Twitter is working on its own crypto wallet. Okay. Now, it's unknown if this started before Elon made his bid or afterwards, right? But you know for sure Elon, after taking over Twitter, is going to expand upon this. He already said he wants to make Twitter into a super app, but getting a crypto wallet integrated, seems like it's a no-brainer. You want to be able to send and receive crypto. You could use it for authentication. And if you want to expand upon Twitter, you need a native currency, right? Does that mean Dogecoin will become the native currency? Many people are anticipating that Elon will bring more use case to Dogecoin. Maybe this is how he does it. Makes Twitter into a super app and then makes Doge the official currency to be used. Hopefully it's not just Doge. Hopefully you have options like Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe Doge, right? The three. But we know this is happening. So very interesting. I'm pretty sure Elon is going to elaborate on this. Obviously, people that are Dogecoin holders are all going crazy right now because they know Elon has big plans for Doge within Twitter. Could be the main currency, the digital currency. There's rumors about a crypto wallet already being created, possibly supporting Doge and hopefully other crypto too, like Bitcoin and Ethereum and others, right? And who knows what else is coming. But Elon could actually make it happen in terms of giving Doge actual utility. Think about that. One man that somehow can pay $54 billion for a company and single-handedly could give utility to Doge. Think about that. So, good things. Good things overall. Cathie Wood. She said after reading the Bitcoin white paper, she understood it. She understood the vision and knew this was going to be big. That's why she decided to buy $100K worth of Bitcoin, which is still a lot of money. This is back in 2015. So, minus the inflation, more than $100K now. But $100K worth of Bitcoin at $250 and has never, ever sold it. That's important. So that is worth close to $8 million now. And of course, once Bitcoin gets back up to its peak of $69,000, well, then that $8 million balloons up to close to $30 million. Okay? So this is the reason why it's important to HODL. I think despite everything that I've been saying about macro conditions, distrust in governments, right? Distrust in fiat, all the shenanigans that banks and central banks are doing. But ultimately, Bitcoin is the one asset to hold because it can't be inflated in any artificial way. No one controls it, and there's a set supply. This is why we want to HODL. Right, so Cathie Wood is proving to many that she does. I don't think she's ever shared this story before. I knew Cathie Wood is a big Bitcoin bull, and even though she made some mistakes recently with her trades, trading off Coinbase and Block, but still, deep down, she's a big Bitcoin bull. So, good story overall. But you know what, Cathie Wood, of course. You know, she controls ARK. ARK is not the only VC that's interested. I mean, right now you see headlines left and right about VC capital coming into the space and investing in early stage projects, right? Not just about Bitcoin, but recently, like for example, Uniswap just got a huge funding, $165 million round. So we know that the new Aptos, right, received an enormous amount. I forgot. It's hundreds of millions of two. So there's enormous money coming in. So it's not just ARK. A lot of other venture capitalists and hedge funds and just institutions, they're all jumping in knowing that, yes, Bitcoin is the granddaddy of them all. But there are many others that are definitely worth investing into right now, especially when there's fear out there, especially when things are low. So Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, very, very encouraging that this morning tech stocks are down, especially Google. Look at this. Opening bell right now. Google is down 8%. Microsoft is down 8%. Horrible tech day, yet Bitcoin is holding upwards. Now, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Well, let's thank the bears for this, okay? The bears that couldn't help themselves and loaded up with all the shorts, they're feeling not so good this morning. 24-hour time span, over $1 billion worth of shorts liquidated. Let's just refresh and see. 1.13 billion to be exact. Okay? That's a lot of shorts liquidated. Now, I did mention most of it is on FTX. I don't know why. Yesterday it was like 73%. Now it's 77%. Massive amount of liquidation on FTX. Actually, I can't speculate why it's happening at FTX. But overall, this is what's driving Bitcoin upwards. There are definitely people buying, driving price up, and then you have a cascading effect as more and more shorts get liquidated, and then short squeeze happens and it drives things up. That's exactly what's happening. Over $1 billion liquidated. That's a massive amount, okay? Within a very short amount of time. Plus, now you have a little bit more FOMO. People are jumping in a little more. You get the picture. But why is it all on FTX? I'm still curious about this. When you have $1 billion liquidated, it goes to the other side, right? So you have 1.13 billion shorts taken away, and you're given to the longs. But why on FTX? Is SBF collecting that? Is he counter trading all these guys so that he just made a cool 863 million, and now he has enough money to do whatever else he wants in the industry, because we know SBF is trying to be like BlackRock of crypto. Who knows? We know he has some sophisticated trading algorithm and bots. That's how he made his billions in the first place. It wouldn't surprise me he's still running those behind the scenes. And maybe the reason why there's so much volume on FTX, because it's more than 10x of Binance. And Binance overall has 10x the number of users and trading volume. So how can one exchange that's 10 times smaller than Binance have 10 times more volume when it comes to leverage? And it's not even something that really tout either. Not like Bybit. Bybit is known for being a leverage exchange. That's how they made their name for themselves. Still curious, real curious about that. But overall, know that Bitcoin right now seems to have broken this trend where it's correlated with NASDAQ and tech. I know it's just for a few days, but we will see where this goes. We know that volatility of Bitcoin has dropped below S&P 500 and NASDAQ for the first time since, I think the statistics it was since 2000, since I forget when. It was really a long time ago. I think since 2018 or something like that, right? And let's see if this can continue. Also, what's really bullish is the fact that the CFTC Chair still believes that Bitcoin and Ether are both, not just one, both are commodities. So the CFTC Chair thinks despite the fact that Ethereum has moved to proof of stake, it's still a commodity. It's not a security. So they're still standing up to the SEC, even though they're both major agencies within the U.S. And they don't really, I don't think these agencies really get in a fight with each other. But it's nice to see someone pushing back against SEC. Not just Ripple doing it, not just Grayscale doing it, because Grayscale also sued SEC. But you have an interagency that's also saying the same thing. It's like, hey, leave Ethereum alone. They're a commodity. We get to control them, right? And this will put a big dent in Gary's plans, because he believes Ethereum is a security. And he believes any project on top of Ethereum is a security also that's running within Ethereum's network, right? So if you take that away from him, well, then he loses a lot of control, a lot of power. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. More and more and more people are telling him to cut it out. So here's a senator from Ohio telling him, hey, even though we know you want to fight inflation, you don't want to kill the economy. We don't want to see people get laid off and unemployment skyrocket, and then it leads to worse things. And you know what? Many has this sentiment like, hey, you have done too much in such a little time, right? And since the markets, or since a lot of the economic data are trailing data, you may go too far, right, before you actually see or notice that you have gone too far. And then it's too late to pull back, right? So sometimes you need to just kind of calm yourself. You don't want to go so aggressive, because then you may be way ahead and you could do more destruction. Okay, so bottom line is a lot of people are telling Powell to cut it out. Okay, and this could lead to a more dovish outlook or dovish stand by Powell, and maybe he goes 50 basis points instead of 75 basis points, which would be really, really nice. Some of you guys may be worried about this. Core Scientific, one of the biggest publicly traded Bitcoin miners, is worried, and they're saying they may go bankrupt. And their stock is down 97% for the year. Okay. Overall, I think they command about 3 to 4% of the overall mining power out there. Still very little. If they shut down, it'll be absorbed by everyone else. No problem. The biggest thing is, do they have a ton of Bitcoin to sell? Right? If they're going to go bankrupt, are they going to dump billions upon billions of Bitcoins out in the market? And the answer is no, because they already sold. Okay? And this actually explains a lot. They sold $300 million worth of Bitcoin back in July. Okay? Or June, and it was reported in July. So why does this make a whole lot of sense? Well, what happened in June? Remember this? Bitcoin was hovering around 30,000 just fine, and then boom. Right? We had this big sudden drop that brought us down to 17,000. Now, some people think it was due to the Celsius was stopping withdrawals. Some people think it was Three Arrows Capital liquidating, right? But you know what really probably happened was Core Scientific dumped all their Bitcoins. That's probably what brought Bitcoin down, because Bitcoin was already weak. It was down already. People were fearful, and then they dumped it back to 17,000. So that actually explains a lot. Because for Bitcoin to make this kind of movement, you have to have someone huge just dump all of it on the spot market. And that's probably what they did. So the good news is, even if they go bankrupt, they have like no more Bitcoin. They have nothing to sell. So we don't have to worry about more selling pressure from them.